sports.
We are La Force. We are Minnesota.
Twins got all the scoring they would need last night against the Astros in one inning. The bottom of the fifth, the 6 through 9 hitters delivered with a little help from Carlos Gomez in center field. The Twins got 3 runs in that fifth inning. Tyler Duffey kept the Astros in check, going 6 innings, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits. He also had 8 strikeouts. With the Twins up 3-1, Brandon Kintzler came in to close out the ninth. He had a 1-2-3 inning. Kintzler got his 10th save of the season. The Twins won the opener 3-1. So tonight it's game 2 of this 4-game series on another beautiful, yes, hot and sticky, but beautiful night from Target Field. And we'll see 2 starters who are very different in terms of control tonight. Mike Fiers averages just over 2 walks per 9 innings of work. That's 7th best in the AL. Hector Santiago, though, is on the other end of that spectrum with an average of 4.23 walks per 9 innings. Hoping he can keep that number down, though, as he makes his Twins at Target Field debut. And good evening from Target Field. I'm Marnie Gellner. The Twins have now won 9 of their last 12 games. And the players are able to relax just a little bit, maybe even smile just a little bit as they put a much better product out on the field. The turnaround has been impressive. It has been significant. Since June 26th, the Twins have the 5th best winning percentage in all of baseball. They've also been ignited by offense. Minnesota's hit the most home runs and has scored the most home runs in the league in that span. So the hitting's improved, but so has the pitching. The team ERA overall is 4th best in the American League since the end of June. Certainly doesn't turn the whole season around, but it is much more satisfying.
I would think that these guys are aware of those things. With 50 games, we're going to keep playing. We're kind of enjoying what we're doing right now for the most part. I think there's a lot of energy. Guys are having fun, a lot of joking going around, which is good.
Now Hector Santiago will make his Target Field debut as a member of the Twins tonight. Coming up next, Dick and Bert on the strengths of Santiago.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Chrysler. Enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance event. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Tonight it'll be the Target Field debut as a Twin for left-hander Hector Santiago. Game 2 between the Twins and the Astros. Santiago hasn't pitched particularly well here at Target Field, but he'll make the start tonight. Figures to make the start in the homestand finale Sunday against Kansas City. It's a steamy night here at Target Field. Very glad you're with us for Twins baseball. Dick Bramer along with Bert Blyleven. Hector Santiago made his Twins debut in Cleveland. Didn't go so well, but prior to that he had been pitching very, very well.
Boy, he had a great month of July where he went 6-0 in 6 starts and ERA under 2, but in his debut as a Minnesota Twin, it was in Cleveland. He gave up a couple long balls. Lindor right there, straightaway center. The biggest blow of the ball game came in this at-bat right there when Carlos Santana just crushed a home run, and it was a big 3-run home run. 5 innings, 4 hits. He settled down nicely after that. You know, he's a guy that is going to challenge hitters. His fastball doesn't move that much. That's the changeup right there. And Hector Santiago, you can see what his pitch selection has been over his career. He came up with the White Sox as a reliever, but almost 62% fastballs. He'll mix in that changeup and then the slider, curveball, and then the little cut fastball. Hopefully he'll have a great debut here.
Twins having a great month of August so far. They hope that Santiago can pick up in August where he left off in July. Hector Santiago takes the mound here at Target Field for the first time as a Twin. Again, he figures to make 2 starts in this homestand. And here's Santiago's scouting report.
Oh, he's traded to the Twins when he had a 7-game winning streak from June 15th to July 30th. 9 starts, 7-0, 2.52 ERA. He will attack the strike zone with 5 different pitches, meaning the fastball. He'll throw a 2-seamer, 4-seamer, curveball, slider, changeup. And the only negative I think that we have seen from Santiago's reports, a lot of walks and the high pitch count in a short amount of time.
A.J. Hinch hoping that the Astros can get things turned around. The Rangers have already won, so as we stand right now, the Astros are 9 games behind the surging Texas Rangers. Santiago ready. For that matter, so is George Springer, and he takes up high, ball 1.
Santiago was 6-0 in July. 10 wins, a career high for him. And up high again, 2-0.
He'll get that fastball as the game goes to 92, 93 miles an hour. Changes speeds well. Making his 24th start, his second as a Twin. First here at Target Field.
Big swing by Springer, back in the leadoff spot for the Astros. Tony Kemp was there last night when Jose Altuve was not in the lineup. And Springer dropped down to third where Altuve sits tonight. 2-1. And a couple of awfully big swings by Springer.
Yeah, he does not get cheated. We mentioned that last night. This Houston ball club does strike out a lot, the most in the American League.
And he strikes out more than the rest. He's already got 117 strikeouts. And Santiago delivers up and in, and it's a full count.
59 walks in 126 innings pitched. That's on the high side. Suzuki wanting a fastball in.
And a strikeout with a fastball. Away, one down. Menard's batting order for the Astros. And by season's end, they may have 8 players with 100 or more strikeouts. Incredible. Springer, Bregman, Jose Altuve, the exception to the rule. He's been maybe the league's best hitter. Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, Evan Gattis, Tyler White, Jake Marisnick, and Tony Kemp. For Altuve, 436 at bats. He's only struck out 49 times. He does not fit in to this Houston lineup. But yet 19 home runs, second on the team. Here is Bregman. Number 2 overall pick. The Astros called him up, and they're not sure yet where they're going to play him. They don't know whether he's going to be an infielder or an outfielder, but they are pretty convinced his bat will play up here. And a liner fair into the corner. Been swinging it a little bit better as of late, and he'll start his night with an extra base hit. Going into second with a 1-out double. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Former Astro Robbie Grossman in left field. Eddie Rosario in center. Max Kepler in right. Plouffe and Polanco left side of the infield. Dozier, Mauer on the right side. Kurt Suzuki back behind the plate. And here is Altuve. Broke a string of 202 consecutive games played last night. He wasn't in the lineup. Didn't pinch hit or pinch run. And look at those numbers. Incredible.
First game he missed since June 15th of last year.
And a ground ball into center field, a base hit. Bregman around third being waved around. Here's Rosario's throw, a strong one, and he got him. Suzuki with the catch on the tag, 2 away. We saw Rosario last year pick up so many assists, and that might be his best throw of this season.
Yeah, last year was mainly from left field, but here playing center field with Byron Buxton down in AAA. Rosario getting the opportunity. And what made this such a great play, yes, it's a ground ball single up the middle, but it's the way that Rosario charged the ball to make a good throw. Altuve looking, maybe he's got a ribby right there. And you see Bregman had to slow down right there, and that maybe allowed Suzuki to go up the line, catch it, and then tag him out.
Well, a big play early. And Santiago gets a boost from his center fielder. Altuve at second. Here is Correa. Over the inside corner, strike 1. Correa has already struck out 100 times in 409 at bats. Drilled to left. And Correa tags a 2-run home run off the facing of the second deck. And a home run ball bites Santiago again.
Well, he gave up 2 in his debut as a Twin in Cleveland. That was a solo and a 3-run home run. Here it's a 2-run home run to Correa, his 16th of the year. Fastball looked like it stayed right on the same plane. Not a lot of movement. Middle in. And it allowed Correa, you see, they won that ball in. Correa opened up quickly. And it's a line drive home run. So quick 2-0 lead for the Astros.
Run scoring a big reason for the Astros decline. They've scored a total of 18 runs in their last 10 games, but a couple of early ones here tonight. Marwin Gonzalez taking a ball one. Now pitch foul to our right.
Yeah, you could even go further than that, Dick. The last 14 ball games, they're hitting only .201 as a ball club. 3 wins, 11 losses over their last 14 games. Pitching has been pretty good, but a total of 32 runs scored in those 14 ball games.
That is backhanded by Plouffe. Kind of a funny second hop, but he fires across, and the inning ends. 3 hits, couple of runs for the Astros, but a strong throw from Eddie Rosario, getting a big out at the plate. Santiago 10 times, and he's already hit now 3 home runs against him. And the Menards batting order for the Twins as they try to overcome a quick 2-0 deficit. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Max Kepler, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Jorge Polanco, Kurt Suzuki, and Robbie Grossman.
And for the second time this year, they'll take a look at Mike Fiers, making his 21st start of the year, his 22nd appearance. Pitched against the Twins in Houston back on May 4th, and he got a lot of run support that ball game, and he couldn't get through 5 innings. Twins ended up losing that ball game 16-4, but getting short of that 5 inning span to get a win.
Popped up on an 0-1 pitch to center field. Jake Marisnick's out there today, and he makes the catch. Dozier retired, 1 down.
Yeah, the big blow in that ball game for Fiers was the 3-run home run by Brian Dozier.
Northland Ford defense for the Astros. Tony Kemp in left. Marisnick moving to center. George Springer in right. Bregman at third. Correa at short. Altuve at second. Gonzalez at first. And Evan Gattis back behind the plate again. 1 down, and now Joe Mauer. And over for a strike.
Fiers isn't going to blow you away with a fastball. He's going to change speeds, almost what last night was Colin McHugh that did the same thing.
Yeah.
Changing speeds. That's what they're all about.
That was one of the reasons when the Astros got off to a poor start. The theory was that one of the reasons they've got a very similar looking rotation, other than Lance McCullers, who's been hurt most of the year. McCullers can bring it mid-90s, and the rest of them, whether they're right-handed or left-handed, are more finesse-type pitchers.
Yeah, they'll see Dallas Keuchel tomorrow as a left-hander, and he's almost the same way.
Count to Mauer, 1-2. just missed the inside corner at 90 miles per hour. Fiers and Gomez came over, of course, about a year ago from Milwaukee in a trade. Ooh, that was a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, it was.
Foxtrax had it on the inside edge.
Chris Guccione behind the plate, calling balls and strikes.
And now 3-2 with Kepler on deck.
Twins, of course, saw Fiers when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers, making his 6th career start against the Twins. 2 wins, 1 loss, a very good 2.53 ERA against the Minnesota Twins.
Dribbled foul. Desperate times for Houston. They were putting a lot of heat on the Rangers about the time the Twins were handling the Rangers in the month of July. The Astros were making a run. And the Rangers made some moves prior to the trade deadline. Houston didn't do much. And now the Astros have fallen back. Full count to Mauer. Bouncer to the third baseman Bregman. And he throws across 2 down.
Yeah, they could almost blame so far the way that they have played against the Rangers. They're 2-11 against them. But Fiers in his last start, that coming in Houston, his last 3 starts have been very, very good. 2.33 ERA in 19 1/3 innings with 15 strikeouts.
But then 2 starts prior to that, a total of 7 innings and 10 earned runs allowed. Here's Kepler with the bases empty and 2 down. And we see again the Astros flaunting a pull shift in the infield. Paul Molitor thought that last night Kepler got caught trying to hit the ball to the opposite field a little bit. Here's a pop-up down the left field line. And Kemp is there to make the catch. A 1-2-3 first for Mike Fiers. Duffy pitched a wonderful ball game against the Houston Astros, got the win, 6 effective innings, showing a better, you thought, fastball command and an improved breaking ball.
Well, let's hear from Tyler about that. I know, Tyler, we got an opportunity to say congratulations first of all, but you know, you had been struggling a little bit. Now, last night's ball game, it just seemed like you attacked the strike zone right off the get-go with your fastball.
Yeah, and that's been the big thing. It's not necessarily just attacking, but making good pitches early in the count. I was getting in trouble. I was getting ahead of guys, but I was leaving stuff over the plate. And I finally set up my off speed with my fastball. Got some good results yesterday.
You had a wonderful start last year against Houston. You didn't pitch against them down in Houston in May, but you got to start against them last night. Is that just a coincidence, or did you feel a little extra adrenaline rush last night?
No, I mean, it's kind of coincidence, but they kind of play into my strengths. They're a pretty aggressive lineup, top to bottom. A lot of guys like to swing the bat, swing it hard too. So it, they can get after some people, but then if you pitch them right, you can get through them and have a decent start out of it.
Tyler, anything that you and Neil Allen work between starts? Because we got a lot of people, you know, the kids that want to be big leaguers like yourself one day. Is there something that you really isolated on because of the struggles you had, and then you made the adjustment last night?
Yeah, we worked a lot on my tempo. You know, I talked about that. I worked on it last year in AAA. You know, my bullpens, I was working real slow and methodical. You know, and I finally got back to that on the mound in the game. You know, and that slowed me down, allowed me to get on top of things a lot better. You know, my breaking ball is a lot better yesterday. My location of my fastball is better. You know, it all comes with that. So my biggest thing is just slowing down. You know, you're not in a hurry to get rid of the ball. You know, nobody's going anywhere. You just got to throw it over the plate and let them get themselves out.
That was kind of my scouting report last night, because I know I had a pretty good curveball. Your curveball, if that left shoulder flies open, it's tough to really have good control of that. Not only the curveball, also the fastball.
Absolutely, yeah. Because once you know, that front side leaks out, it's really hard to get on top of the ball and locate. You know, especially when I'm trying to throw sinkers to my arm side. You know, and keep the four seam on the outside corner to righties. It gets tough if you're not behind the ball. You know, and that's what I think I'd been struggling with a little bit. You know, and felt good yesterday, and so hopefully I can keep it rolling.
What was nice about last night, first inning, you threw 8 pitches to get 3 outs. In the third inning, you used 7, so that allows you to go deeper in the ballgame.
Absolutely, you know, and that's my main goal, and that's what's been so frustrating for me is, you know, I know our bullpen has had to work a little bit, you know, and then my last 2 starts before this one, you know, I didn't get deep at all. You know, it's second inning, maybe the beginning of the third inning. You know, and I really taxed them, and you know, that's not fair to them for me to go out and do that. You know, so I was really frustrated about that. You know, because we won some of those games, but just me going 2 innings, that's not acceptable.
One more question for me. You know what, Tyler? Last year everything seemed to come easy. 10 starts, you were 5-1. This year, you know, you had your peaks and valleys. What have you learned?
Slowing the game down. That's the biggest thing. You know, I heard about that a lot. You know, last year I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. You know, just came up here and just trying to hang out and, you know, pitch in games and
good bat toss. Wow.
Do well, and you know, now I'm kind of having to settle into my own little groove here, and you know, guys are adjusting to me. You know, so I've had to adjust back, and you know, I think I'm in the process of doing that, and you know, it's part of it.
Hey, one question you mentioned earlier about your tempo out there. You could learn a lot by watching this guy.
Yeah,
Santiago catches it and throws it, man.
Yeah, he works quick. You know, it works out well. You know, in my case, you know, if I get going a little too quick, I think I get a little wound up sometimes. So I gotta take a breath every once in a while.
I think what you're talking about tempo too is not rushing. You know, get to that balance point, stay tall so you can let your arm catch up to your body.
Right, and yeah, you can get the ball and be ready to go as soon as you want. But it's just once you start that, you know, your motion and your delivery, there's no rush to get to home plate. You know, it's not going anywhere. The hitter's not going anywhere. You know, I just have to take that extra split second to really get the ball where I want it.
Weak little pop-up to Mauer. A 1-2-3 inning for Hector Santiago.
Kitchen shot right there.
And we thank last night's starter and winner, Tyler Duffy. Nice job.
Tyler,
thank you.
something out there on the mechanically what the pitching coach has seen in the first 2 innings. 2-0 Houston. Miguel Sano will lead off the bottom of the second. That's a 2-1 ball game. My goodness. A home run, his 19th of the year on Fire's first pitch of the second inning.
Yeah, straight over the top fastball that stayed right down the heart of the plate. Sano jumped on that first pitch. That was a no-doubter.
So just like that, the Twins are on the board on Sano's 19th. Target down and away, pitch left up and in.
Yeah, both these starters here tonight have given up some home runs in a short amount of time. That was home number 18 on the year for Fiers. This is his 21st start.
And Plouffe jumps on the first pitch. Chest high hop to Correa. And Plouffe quickly retired. 1 away. That'll bring up Eddie Rosario.
Well, he had 18 home runs last year. Now Sano topping that right now with 19.
Rosario with 7. And his batting average keeps climbing. He's almost out of the 270s now.
A good night at the plate last night. 3 hits, a couple singles, and a double. Scored a run.
Down and in, ball 1. Twins are starting to see more extra base pop in addition to the batting average climbing. He now, with 219 at bats, has 22 extra base hits. Taken low, 2-0.
You know, and that's one thing he did so well last year. He had 15 triples last year, 18 doubles, and along with his 13 home runs.
And when he was first recalled, he was picking up some hits, but we remember him last year doing a lot of damage with his hits. Now a 2-0 pitch, and he takes an off-speed pitch. And Paul Molitor will tell you that one of the improvements he's seen was just what the Twins intended him to do when they sent him down. Be more patient at the plate. Now he's still got a hitter's count at 2-1. And he lifts it foul, 2-2. For Rosario, his increased patience might never mean more than 50 walks in a season, but he will find himself in better counts and in better position to do some damage because he'll be swinging at fewer pitches out of the zone. And he didn't swing at that one. Usually when I mention somebody's shown great discipline, they swing at one about 18 inches out of the strike zone.
Only 6 walks and 219 at bats.
Assistant trainer Miguel Sano. And then he swings at one in the dirt. 2 down. Toyota Keystadt with the Astros struggling in run scoring, and that's hardly been a problem for the Twins over the last week and a half. A power-laden team suddenly with a lot of run production, and it bears no resemblance to the team we saw coming out of spring training. Here is Jorge Polanco. And if you're wondering, well, you know, where was this team in April? Well, truth be told, almost half of the position players were in Rochester. Kepler was there, Vargas was there, Grossman wasn't even in the organization. Polanco was in Rochester. 0-2.
Basically in the minor leagues, getting their at-bats, getting their opportunity, and because of the poor 3 months the Twins played, some of those kids are here now.
Up and away, 1-2.
But Paul had said nice things about Rosario. You can double that from this guy right here, Polanco.
Foul back. You know, one of the measures I use for a player, talking about it with Rosario, if a guy gets 1 extra base hit per 10 at bats, that's pretty good. That's another way of reflecting slugging percentage and OPS and all that. In Polanco's case, 63 at bats, He's got 9 extra base hits. That's very good. 1-2. And past
just a bit high.
Past home plate umpire Chris Guccione and to the backstop. 2-2.
Yeah, Polanco as a switch hitter is a left-handed hitter. He's hitting .333, 16 hits in 48 at-bats.
And an off-speed pitch, a wave and a miss. A first pitch home run for Miguel Sano, and the Twins are on the board. It's 2-1. Gear up for his next at bat. The first at bat didn't last very long. One pitch, 425 feet later, the Twins are on the board. Here's Tony Kemp leading off the third against Hector Santiago. Off the plate outside, ball 1.
Kemp in his rookie season, just 24 years old. Out of Vanderbilt, signed in 2013. Couple stints this year. Recalled back on August 7th, just a couple, 2-3 days ago.
Santiago falling behind batters, 2-0, and he delivers a strike, 2-1. And he takes another fastball for a strike, 2-2.
Santiago, a left-hander, he throws across his body. He'll step toward that first baseline, working off the middle part of that pitching rubber.
Foul tip, Suzuki hangs on, and Santiago has another strikeout.
Strikeout number 3.
1 away in the third. Here's Marty Gellner.
Guys, this is Hector Santiago's second start as a Twin, the second time Kurt Suzuki has caught him. And I asked Santiago about that process of learning his catcher and his catcher learning him. Santiago said it's just going to take some time. It's going to take a couple of starts, a couple of bullpen sessions. But Hector said he's the kind of guy, he likes to talk about his start during the day with his catcher, especially more now, even between innings, to make sure that he and Suzuki are on the same page. And Suzuki himself told me that in Cleveland, in Santiago's first start, there were a couple of times when Suzuki did not put down the sign that Santiago was looking for. It might have been the second or third sign. So Suzuki said it wasn't as smooth as it could have been, but we're figuring out and we're getting there. And Bert, what is that process like as a pitcher to learn a catcher when you two are new teammates?
Well, you know what, you talk about the lineup before you go out there in the clubhouse, and you sit down with a pitching coach. You have the catcher, both catchers there actually, not just Suzuki, also Centeno, because one day he's going to be catching, and they'll go over each hitter and how they want to prepare. And Then you go out to the bullpen and see what kind of stuff you have. And then you make the adjustment as the game goes on. So there's that relationship. It's that one day that I learned so much from Phil Roof and George Meadowall, my first 2 catchers, that you know, you carry that in the rest of your career.
I've asked you this before, but for those who haven't heard the question, would you have been one to use a lot of video to prepare for your start? Would you, for instance, want to see Bregman's last 10 at bats, Springer's last 10 at bats before you face them?
No, I did not. I didn't watch video at all, to be honest with you. I think video wasn't around, you know, back in the 70s.
No, but I mean, would you, if you were pitching now, would you
Probably
utilize
not.
that? Okay.
Probably not, no. I did it more by feel. I knew what stuff I had probably in the first 2 or 3 innings. You know, the hitters would also tell me what kind of stuff I had, either good or bad. Sometimes bad.
2-2 to Bregman. He doubled.
But again, with my curveball and fastball and changeup, I had 3 pitches. Control my fastball. Like that right there. Pretty good pitch.
Just missed inside a full count with Altuve on deck.
I came up watching Jim Perry, Jim Cott go about their business, and one thing I learned watching the Cy Young Award, Jim Perry, when that catcher sat away, that ball was away. Now Suzuki wants the ball away, and it left in.
And Dozier with a diving catch behind the second base bag. Brian Dozier ends the inning with a great diving catch. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. All the runs on home runs. A 2-run home run for Carlos Correa. A solo home run for Miguel Sano. And the Twins will hit bottom of the 3rd. It'll be Suzuki, Grossman, and Dozier. Slow breaking ball over the outside corner. Juan Centeno catching back-to-back Twins wins. Final game of the series in St. Petersburg and the opener last night here. And Suzuki back in the lineup tonight. Grounded sharply down the line. Suzuki to first. And the ball hits the diagonal wall, and Karam's in front of Kemp, and it's a leadoff double for the Twins catcher.
Kurt waited back nicely right there and just flicked the bat at the last second, hit it right down that 3rd baseline.
And now Suzuki, who started out so poorly at the start of the year, got it out of the reach of Bregman. Now Suzuki's averaging just about 1 extra base hit for every 10 at bats. And the tying run at second, nobody out. Here's Robbie Grossman. Asked A.J. Hinch, of course, was Grossman's manager in Houston, about Grossman. And his first comment was he's an on-base machine. And we've seen that. He's got an on-base percentage of just under .400.
Yeah, played with the Astros in 2013, the last year.
That's drilled to left center field. And cutting across is Kemp. Makes the catch. Suzuki still at second. 1 down. Pretty well hit ball for the first out. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration's now open. You can learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportsupports.com. Here's Brian Dozier. Hit the second pitch of the first inning into short center, where it was caught by Marisnick. Down and away, ball 1. Two and 0. First baseman Gonzalez is about halfway between first and second. Altuve standing on the second base bag now, but he'll drift over to the left side of the infield by a step or two. 2-0 to Dozier. 3-0. Mauer on deck. It's in position here to tie the game up with a hit to the outfield. Dozier takes a strike on 3-0. And now 3-2. Talked about the Astros and how they look like they might have 8 different hitters with 100 or more strikeouts. Twins have Sano at 120. Dozier might get there. He's got 79. Mauer might get there. Of course, right now Byron Buxton's down in the minor leagues. But there's a chance that Twins will finish the season with just 1 hitter with more than 100 strikeouts. Three and 2 to Dozier. Line drive caught by Correa. And that's out number 2. That'll bring up Joe Mauer, who shared with Max Kepler the American League Player of the Week for the first week of August.
Yeah, Joe having a very good month of August, hitting .517. Driving in some runs, some extra base hits for Joe.
Twins will need a 2-out hit here from Mauer to get the game tied up. Suzuki starting the inning with a double. You mentioned Fire's first start against the Twins. It had to be a starter's nightmare in his first 4 innings of at-bats at home as the home team. The Astros gave him 9 runs to work with, and he could not get through the top of the 5th.
Yeah, he ended up throwing 95 pitches in the 4 2/3 innings. So, yeah, it was a day you want to forget about if you're a starting pitcher, because a win was right there. And they ended up winning. That's the most important thing, 16-4.
Phil Hughes had an awful start in Houston. Talked with Phil this afternoon. He was around the ballpark today. He says he's rehabbing nicely, doing range of motion exercises after his rib resection surgery. 1 strike to Mauer. The timing of it all, of course, you never like to lose someone because of an injury, but Phil told me that in about 3 weeks he's going to start picking up a baseball, and they've got a throwing program that they'll put him on that he'll be able to complete around about the end of the season, and then he'll shut things down and everything should be good to go for next year.
Get ready for spring training. Yep.
1-1 to Mauer. And then another thing that will help him, as you know very well, because you're the pitching coach for the Dutch team again, spring training will start earlier. The games will start earlier in late February. So it'll be a little extra time through spring training for someone like Hughes. That could be valuable, I would think, to getting ready for opening day. 2-1 to Mauer. And a foul. 2-2. Fires facing Mauer, trying to pitch around a leadoff double by Suzuki. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Suzuki left at second, and it's still 2-0 or 2-1 Houston.
Unbelievable how good he is for his size. Then you feel like you can pitch him in and you can't pitch him in, and you feel like you can throw him away and he's ready for away. So all around he's just a tough out. He's a great hitter. I've had some decent success against him in the past. So just try to go with the same game plan. Just try to mix it up. Try not to try to catch him off guard and just not try not to double anything up. Mix it up a little bit.
Not sure how you catch this guy off guard. He's got such great plate coverage. 334 his average since 2014. Made the All-Star team, came here to Target Field and enjoyed his All-Star experience. That's plate coverage right there.
Yeah, down and away. The old Ted Williams chart. Pitch him down and away on the black. He would hit only 236. Everywhere else, watch out. He jumped on the first pitch in the first inning. Ended up getting a single. Play that Rosario made a great throw home.
2 strikes.
Yeah, Tuve, 4-time All-Star. He won the batting title in 2014 when he hit 341. He's won a Gold Glove at second base. He's done it all. I guess the MVP award might be the next thing that this guy might have. They list him at size 5'6", about 165 pounds.
I don't know about the 165. The 5'6" might be generous.
Venezuela.
You played against Freddie Patek, who was about the same size, right?
Yep. And he too had power, and he could fly. He was a little stockier than Altuve, but he was a great shortstop. Very good player for the Royals.
Up high, 3-2.
I saw Patek one time in a bunting situation at the old Met. He bunted the ball with the second baseman covering the bag, first baseman going in. He bunted it toward right field, got a double.
Rosario hustling in. He won't get there with Altuve dropping in his second hit of the night. So he gets a day off, answers with 2 hits in his first 2 at bats.
You know, he does have a small strike zone. You try to keep the ball down. He swings through the fastball. And then the off-speed pitch, he fouled it off. Try to come inside. Don't try to, like, you know, basically what Hector said, you have to change speeds. And the ball too much of the plate, but he hit softly into center field.
And now Carlos Correa tattooed the first Santiago pitch he saw off the facing of the second deck and left. Runner goes, and Altuve with a steal.
And that's another thing that he can do. He can steal bases. The most stolen base the last couple of years in 2014 and last year he led the American League in stolen bases. And here got a great jump, steals his 26th base of the year.
And Santiago would do well to keep an eye on him at second base. Pitch called a ball. Off the end of the bat, Altuve will advance. And one away with Altuve moving to third base. The stolen base. A big play there, if nothing else, if not a double play. Twins would have been able to get the lead runner at second. One down, and now Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's the 8th stolen base off of Santiago in 13 tries.
Twins will bring the infield in here, and this is where having a lineup overloaded with strikeout hitters can really, and has, hurt the Astros. Runner at third, 1 out, and so many times the Astros have seen the next batter strike out. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
A good changeup right there. Good location.
Gonzalez not there yet. 79 strikeouts in 327 at bats, but becomes and stays a regular player for Houston. He might eclipse 100 strikeouts. 1 strike. And he tried to tickle the outside corner again, but missed.
Yeah, back-to-back changeups.
One and one. Bouncer towards third. Plouffe looks Altuve back, 2 down.
3 straight changeups right there, and Gonzalez reaching out. Not a good at bat. Altuve stays at third base.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by clean, crisp Coors Light, the silver bullet. And the Astros since July 30th scoring just 18 runs, not counting the 2 they got here tonight in the first inning. Infield back at regular depth now, and Evan Gattis will bat. Ooh, just missed the outside corner, ball 1. Gattis with a pop-up to Dozier his first time up. Up and away.
Yeah, we showed Gattis last night in the batter's box. Suzuki's going to go out and talk to the left-hander, Santiago. Where he stands in the batter's box, where his hands are actually on the inner part of the plate.
Astros generally struggling. They've always struggled more this year with against left-handed pitching. It's hard to figure with all the right-handed pop that they have in their lineup. Gattis's hands just about over the inside corner. Squirted down the line. That just missed the bag.
Right off the end of the bat. Another changeup. Gaddis has popped. The 17 home runs this year, 27 last year for the Astros in his first season with the Astros, coming over from the Braves.
Two and one. 3-1. White on deck.
Santiago hasn't walked anybody yet, but you don't want to give him a cookie right here either. You have first base open, 2 outs.
Hook foul, strike 2.
Another changeup.
Fair to call Hector Santiago a finesse left-hander. Fair too to call Tommy Milone that. How would you compare the two?
I think that Santiago a little extra fastball. Milone might top out at 91. You know, we'll see Santiago at 93, 94 at times. Same type of arsenal that they throw toward home plate.
Full count, 2 down. Got him. And Gaddis strikes out, leaving Altuve at third base, and it's still 2-1. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Slow breaking ball to Max Kepler, taken for a strike. It'll be Kepler, Sano, and Plouffe for the Twins fourth. Up and away. Be interesting to see how Kepler handles the attention and the shifting. Pulled foul. If I understood Paul Molitor correctly, you know, it's natural for a young hitter to see a wide open left side of the infield and maybe try to hit the ball on the ground that way. But Kepler was named American League Player of the Week last week, co-player of the week, by hitting line drives to and over the outfield. And there's nothing you can do with infield defense to change that. So it's a delicate balance. You know, you want to take what the defense will give you, but if you're hitting line drives to the outfield anyway, they can put 4 infielders on the right side and it won't change, you know, what your game is.
Well, you need to pitch to hit too. I mean, Fine's right here, you know, 4 pitches in this at bat. He's mixed them all the pitches up, kept him off balance.
Funny, he hasn't gotten many thigh-high fastballs over the inside corner since Cleveland.
That are down and in, yeah.
Sano on deck, and it's 2-2 to Kepler. Target is outside and up. And now it's 3-2.
See Santiago and Suzuki right there talking about maybe what they're doing.
On the ground through the shift, and Altuve pounds the grass with his bare hand. Kepler grounds a single to start the fourth. We'll bring up Sano, who clobbered his 19th home run his last time up.
He jumped on the first pitch in the bottom of the second inning. Myers laying it right in there. Sano opening up quickly. And did you say it was 425?
I believe so, yep. With 48 runs batted in. Slow overhand breaking ball, strike one. Now Fiers that time had a big leg kick, and I don't know that the Twins are going to be too eager to have anybody steal in front of Sano when he's at the plate, but Kepler can steal a base. Kicks away, and Kepler will scamper to second base, so he didn't need to steal it. He'll go to second on a wild pitch.
That'll be a wild pitch for Myers. That's his 10th wild pitch of the year. Gaddis tried to keep it in front of him. Watch where this ball ends up. That curveball in front. It's off his chest protector, then deflected to the right side. Kepler did a good job of seeing that and advanced to second on the wild pitch.
One and one to Sano, tying run at second base, nobody out. Second inning in a row where the Twins have that situation. And Sano swings through 75 miles per hour, 1-2.
All three pitches have been breaking balls.
Ball up and in, 2-2. Bluth on deck. High fastball got him, 93 miles per hour, and being teased with all that slow stuff.
Yep.
Fiers struck him out, 2 down. Sad news for baseball today. Sanford Health Injury Report. Prince Fielder now will be medically disabled and will not be cleared by doctors to play baseball. It's important to make the distinction. I think he's not retiring, because if he were retiring, he wouldn't get the money left on his contract. He will get that. It just doesn't look like he's ever going to play baseball again.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. You hate to see somebody's baseball career end that way. His second.
Well, that gets away from Gaddis, and that might be a pass ball. Kepler goes to third. Ironic that both he and his father, Cecil, and they've had kind of an estranged relationship, but they each finished their careers with 319 home runs.
Isn't that something?
Pass ball allowing Kepler to go to third. Infield in now for the Astros, and Plouffe has a chance to tie the game up if he can get the ball to the outfield. 1-0 to Trevor Plouffe. Dug out by Gaddis. Everybody who was around Prince Fielder, both in Milwaukee and in Detroit, talked about, great work ethic. Really worked hard. Never wanted to come out of the lineup. 2-0 to Plouffe. 3-0 Rosario on deck.
Now, good take by Plouffe right there. Not trying to do a little bit too much in this situation.
First time he's been in this situation since going on the disabled list.
Trevor came in at his ball game just 1 for 9 against Fires. Grounded out in his first at bat.
And he takes a strike.
Trevor just activated off the disabled list yesterday. Twins sent down Byron Buxton.
And he walked him. And Rosario will come up with runners on the corner.
Yeah, first walk for Fires.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes the free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Rosario struck out swinging his first time up.
Out if he'll get a fastball. There's the curveball for strike 1. Fires making his 21st start this season. He's had only 5 double plays turned behind him.
And the dirt dug out by Gaddis. Impressed, I guess, or surprised at least, how shallow Kemp has been playing in left field. Seeing Rosario with really good opposite field power. To the screen, 1-2.
And he got a fastball right there and fouled it straight back.
Twins looking for their first hit with runners in scoring position. Misfired in the third. They got a leadoff double from Suzuki, didn't score. Had Kepler at second base with nobody out. And he advanced to third on a pass ball. 1-2.
Breaking ball.
Pulled foul. Astros took 2 out of 3 from the Twins in Houston. Twins won the opener last night. Molitor with signs to Gene Glenn.
A.J. Hinch in his second season as a manager of the Astros.
One and two.
Try to sneak that fastball in on him.
And he went upstairs and chased. Struck him out in the second. Chasing a breaking ball in the dirt, and now across the letters another swinging strikeout. 2 down.
He kind of snuck the fastball by Sano too. After all the junk he threw up there, then he rears back, throws that 88 to 89 mile an hour fastball by him.
Tracks presented by Chrysler.
5 strikeouts for Fires.
And some big ones along the way, including the one of Sano. Now a big one here for Rosario, and if the Twins are going to get anything out of this in the 4th inning, it will be done by Polanco with 2 down. He struck out swinging his first time up. Missing low with a breaking ball. Fires seemed a little flummoxed by that. Where was it?
Pretty good pitch. So slow that Gaddis had to go out and get it.
Astros have had leadoff hits in each of the last 3 innings. Sano's home run in the 2nd, Suzuki's double in the 3rd, and now Kepler's single in the 4th. Fastball zipped inside and called strike 2-1.
It's funny, the prior pitch, they wanted that fastball in, it was up and away. That one they wanted a fastball away, and it was inside. So 25 pitches used so far this inning, the most.
Two and 1 to Polanco. Popped up short left. Kemp is there. Twins misfire again. Can't seem to get that second run across. It's still 2-1.
And the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle tonight. We have $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets for some people from North Dakota, from Ray, North Dakota. Actually, that's where Aiden and his dad are from. And Grandma Jean is from Zimmerman, Minnesota. And you've been to a couple of Twins games, Grandma, but what is it like to be here with your grandson as he sees his very first game at Target Field?
Wonderful. He's been so excited all week. It's wonderful.
You've been showing him the ropes a little bit here?
Oh, yeah. He's been running around like crazy.
Pretty big Twins fan?
Oh, yeah. He loves Joe Mauer.
And who does
Joe Mauer everything?
And who does Grandma love?
Joe Mauer.
Okay. It's unanimous then. Dick, you're going to have to get out your map and find Ray, North Dakota, which I know as a North Dakota native, but Bert, you give them a circle, and they are Minnesota Lottery winners tonight.
Yeah, congratulations. You were all here by circle. Thank you for being Twins fans.
You just take Highway 2 and go west, and eventually you'll get to Ray. It's a little bit west of Ross and Stanley. Way over in the, I guess you'd call it well, yeah, right off of Highway 2.
Oh, the big swing of White right there. He doesn't get cheated either.
Go to Minot and go west. You'll hit Ray. Tyler White, 2-2 the count. Bottom third of the Astros lineup. And now ball 3. You'll see this from Santiago. This is kind of vintage Santiago here. He'll give up a hit in an inning. A lot of full counts, deep counts, which is why, you know, typically 5, maybe 6 innings. That's about it. You don't start Hector Santiago expecting him to go 8. Pulled hard and foul. When he ran off his good July, he had 2 starts where he went 7 innings, won those ball games, but then the other starts were 6 innings or less, and he won those. 3-2. foul the other way.
Yeah, Santiago making his 107th major league start here tonight. Came up as a reliever back in 2011 with the White Sox. Actually made his first start in the big leagues against the Twins in Chicago.
Pulled to third, bobbles it, picks it up, fires to Mauer, one away. That'll bring up Marisny. You can bid now through this Saturday on the Twins Wives Organization's annual Favorite Things auction. Bid on baskets of some of the Twins players' favorite things, including autographed items. All proceeds go to benefit children and families in need at Crescent Cove. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/wives auction. Now, you mentioned his early years with the White Sox, and watching the tempo he has out there, you think, well, he must have learned a lot from Mark Buehrle, but he and Buehrle only overlapped for a short period of time with Chicago, and then Buehrle signed his deal with the Marlins. Here's a drive to center. Rosario going back, still going back. There on the track for the catch, out number 2. And that'll bring up Tony Kemp.
Marisnick gave it a ride, but Rosario and his speed caught up to it just before the warning track. Yeah, 38 relief appearances, and then Santiago in September of 2012 had a chance to start. He started against the Twins, and this is what you were talking about. He went 5 innings. He ended up winning the ball game 3-1.
He's got a chance to go a little bit deeper today. He might be on the verge of wrapping up the 5th inning on about 70 pitches. Kemp struck out his first time up.
If you've never seen Santiago pitch, you see the fastball. Not a lot of movement on that fastball. He'll throw the off-speed pitch, the changeup. You know, in that situation, last inning, it threw a lot of changeups. With Altuve at third base, got the ground ball off the bat of Gonzalez, and then struck out Gaddis.
I think the successful pitchers, and you certainly were one of those, for lack of a better term, one of the reasons they're successful, they have the ability, one strike to Kemp, bouncer to second, the ability to think like a hitter and then pitch contrary to what a hitter might be looking for. It's a 1-2-3-5 for Santiago. New fans of the game hoping the Twins can come back from an early 2-0 deficit. It's a steamy night, a sweaty night, but the Twins are staying in this game, frankly, because of their defense. They're not doing much offensively against Mike Fiers. Suzuki led off the third with a double, but never budged from second base. Up high, ball one. Wanted to get your thoughts on that going to break. I said I think successful pitchers have the ability to think like a hitter and then pitch opposite of what a hitter might be wanting, in this case like a fastball with men in scoring position.
You know, we always talk about hitters needing 1,000 at bats sometimes, you know, then you'll find out what kind of player you have. Pitchers, I think, need about 500 innings to in the big leagues to kind of feel and see what hitters can do. I know toward the end of my career I was a better reader of a hitter than at the beginning, because you attack the strike zone more, but you can see sometimes how hitters are reacting to a certain pitch you throw.
Fouled into the seats. Well, in the instance you were talking about, here's Altuve at third base in the middle of the lineup up. They're very aggressive hitters. They're waiting for a fastball to drive to get that run in, and Santiago gave them everything but.
Right. Those changeups down and away, and it was Gonzalez that had the best opportunity, and on the third changeup in a row he turned on it and hit the ground ball to Plouffe for the second out.
1-2 to Suzuki. He'll be followed by Grossman and then Dozier. Over his helmet. Talking with A.J. Hinch before the game. Well, he was meeting the members of the media, and he said the key pitch for Fiers is his breaking ball. If he can throw it over, then it gets the hitters thinking about 3 pitches instead of 2. Instead of the fastball and the changeup, now there's a third pitch in the mix. But what we've seen here in the middle innings, he's lost control of the curveball a little bit.
Well, take the Sano at bat. He made a mistake and threw Sano that first pitch fastball. He hit the home run. His second at bat threw him a lot of off speed pitches and then snuck the fastball by him for the strikeout.
3-2 to Suzuki. Right off the end of the bat. The way Hinch described it, he says, look, if he can't throw his curve for strikes, then he's fastball changeup, and there's no spin to be concerned about as a hitter. You're just basically thinking front and back, fastball change.
Well, we saw that out of their starter last night, Colin McHugh.
Yep.
Did the same thing. Changing speeds, changing eye level. Working both sides of the plate.
Another 3-2 coming to Suzuki. And he checked his swing and took a walk. 4th inning in a row where the leadoff man has at least reached. In Sano's case, of course, he hit a home run.
A second walk for Fiers.
And now Grossman hit a line drive to left field, his first time up. Grossman hitting more than 100 points better from the other side of the plate. Fouled away. Hinch, in describing Grossman, said one of the things they were trying to get Grossman to do was to be more aggressive and not take so many pitches. What we've seen from Grossman is the ability to work counts, draw some walks to keep his on-base percentage high, even though he's not hitting too well from the left side of the plate. 1 strike. A high fly to deep right field. Going back is Springer. She is gone. Grossman's first home run in about a month and a half, and it came against the Astros.
It looked like it was a second straight fastball that Fiers threw him, and Grossman jumping all over it. Up in the zone. And Grossman hitting his 6th home run of the year. Excuse me, his 7th home run of the year. And his first since he hit one in Chicago back on June 30th.
Dozier fouls it off a leg, 1 strike. That has to feel good. Spent parts of 3 years with the Astros, hooked up with the Indians in spring training. Took his opt-out in the middle of May, very quickly came to the big league club with the Twins. foul ball. That ball, I don't think, hit Dozier, and it almost trickled even with the line from the back edge of the plate up the third baseline. See if this ball ever hits Dozier or anything else for that matter.
Big slow breaking ball right off the end of the bat.
And see the backspin, and that was very nearly a fair ball. Gaddis picked it up and tagged Dozier anyway. But that's very much fair territory between the back edges of the plate up the foul line and through the batter's box.
All the runs so far decided by home runs.
1 and 2 to Dozier. A drive to left field. High and deep, Kent back. This one's gone too. A home run for Dozier. He's got his 23rd, and it's 4-2.
Back-to-back home runs. Twins take a 4-2 lead.
3 home runs tonight. Neither team hit a home run last night. You said that's been kind of a rarity this year.
Yeah, it's the 8th time, but it looked like an off-speed pitch right there. Bryan staying back nicely. And then that strong swing. And a nice catch out there by, maybe he dropped it, but back-to-back home runs. Yeah, last night no home runs. It's only the 8th time in Twins games, 112 games, that either side didn't hit a home run. Seems to be a home run every night.
Well, we're making up for lost time here tonight.
Yeah, 3 by the Twins, 1 by the Astros.
1-0 to Bauer. Joe thinks about bunting up the third baseline since there's nobody over there, and it's 2-0. Ground out in the first and a strikeout in the third. Two-0 pitch. He got a fastball and swung through it. Michael Feliz warming up. To left. Caught by Kemp, 1 away. Really well hit ball on a line for the first out. Fox Sports supports the Grand Slam dinner benefiting Boys and Girls Clubs of the Twin Cities coming up Sunday. Just down the road here at Capitol Grill in downtown Minneapolis. You can join your hosts Brian and Renee Dozier for a 4-course meal served by your favorite Twins players. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details. Here's Kepler, grounded a single through the right side of the infield. Takes a fastball on the outside corner. We've seen Kepler threaten to bunt with an infield shift like this. And there he is, rolling it up the line foul.
Well, he was out earlier this afternoon working on that. Just trying to push the ball toward third base. I'm surprised more hitters don't try to do that and really master that with all these shifts as the third baseman's playing short.
Well, it's the only way to get the infielders to get out of the shift.
Right.
If they're going to give you that, take it until they stop giving you that. 2 strikes. Kepler grounds one this time. Altuve's able to get it for out number 2. And that'll bring up Sano. 3 home runs today for the Twins. Now 136 on the year. And Sano's got 19 of them. Hit a home run on the fastball, then struck out on a fastball, but after he saw a whole bunch of spinning curveball.
Right. Yeah, my account says that's the 7th time this year the Twins have hit back-to-back home runs.
And he got a fastball up, not unlike the one he hit off the facing of the second deck. And this time he fouled it to the screen.
Now, one time this year they hit back to back to back. That was in New York against the Yankees. Dozier, Plouffe, and Kepler.
Big pop-up. This one will not hit a ceiling and eventually come down in Marisnik's glove.
Altuve did not see it.
Twilight again. This is about the time of the night where Gomez lost one. Twins hitters lost a couple of baseballs. First Grossman, then Dozier. And the Twins have a 4-2 lead. Twins handing Hector Santiago his first lead as a Twin. It's 4-2, and George Springer will lead off the 6th inning. Springer, Bregman, and Altuve. It's down the right field line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Springer will begin the inning with an extra base hit. It's a leadoff double after Santiago had retired 6 men in a row.
He's given up 5 hits now, 3 of them in that first inning. Springer picking up his 19th double. Suzuki sitting away. Ball came over the plate, came floating back over the plate. Springer lining it into the corner in right field.
Here's Bregman, doubled in the first inning, and then a soft line drive behind the second base bag, and Dozier picked it off for the 3rd out. Really nice diving play. Up and away, ball 1. Pitching with a 2-run lead. Bregman takes a strike inside, 1-1.
You know, I said it was back-to-back home runs by the Twins. 7 times. It's 10 times. So my accounting is terrible.
And I happened to be sitting down when you told me that, but I didn't need to be. That's not really that stunning news, is it?
Somebody out there listening for the first time.
1-1. And another call strike. Altuve on deck. Santiago could use a strikeout. Just missed the corner.
Almost tried to quick pitch him right there with that little cutter. Something off that pitch.
Might have been that screw change that he has. Off-speed pitch that tails away from a right-handed batter. Bregman did a pretty nice job laying off it.
Yeah, he has that circle changeup too, the one that Ratke and Santana and Viola had.
3-2 to Bregman. Missed outside, and now there are 2 aboard for Altuve.
Yeah, tried to get the fastball by him, but missed. First walk for Santiago.
Carsoup.com trivia question: since 1961, who are the only 3 American League second basemen to win a batting championship? Well, that is an easy one, because we can get one right away.
It's right in front of you.
Plouffe will come to the mound here.
I think Rod had some, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure how many as a second baseman, but his first several were as a second baseman. Then he moved to first. Told 5 of them were while he was a second baseman. 2 as a first baseman. 1 strike to Altuve, who has 2 singles already tonight against Santiago.
Michael Tonkin starting to loosen up in the bullpen.
On the outside corner with a fastball.
Well, this is what Santiago was talking about facing Altuve. You have to change your way of pitching sometimes. You hope that you know, the pitch that you're going to throw, he's not looking for it.
0-2. Up the middle, a base hit. Springer rounding third. They'll hold him after Rosario's strong throw in the first inning, but now they're loaded up on an 0-2 pitch. Altuve singled right up the middle, and they're loaded up.
Yes, 3rd hit of the ball game. Looked like Santiago wanted to try to sneak the fastball by him, but Altuve reaches out and hits it right back up the middle. And you see Rosario again come running in, ready to fire. And Springer stops at 3rd.
Trip to the mound by Neil Allen. The Twins have just taken the lead, but almost as quickly the Astros have filled the bases with nobody out. And Correa, who has driven in the 2 Houston runs tonight with a home run, will hit next. And Correa with just 3 hits in 11 at bats against Santiago, but they've all gone over the fence. Corner infielders up. Twins will get a force play at home, or try to anyway, if it's hit to Plouffe or Mauer. It looks like they'll concede a run and take a conventional double play if it's hit to short or second. Over for strike 1.
Started him off with a changeup.
Good average. So far, not a home run. With the bases loaded.
Let's keep it at that.
To right field. And Kepler back and off the wall. 1 run will score. 2nd run coming in. Kepler had a little problem with the ball. And here's the throw, and Correa doubles off the fence and right, and we're tied at 4. Still nobody out in the 6th.
Yeah, looked like another changeup away, and Correa going with it. Well, Correa taking that changeup the other way, hitting it off the wall. He's driven on all 4 runs so far for the Astros. And Kepler had a little trouble. He barehanded it, And then you see him not knowing exactly where to throw. And Correa was going to stop at first. He moved to second.
Fouled back. 1 strike.
And they'll give Kepler an error. They should, allowing him, Correa, to go from first to second.
So it is a single for Correa, and he goes to second on Kepler's drop. Corner infielders up, middle infielders back. A big at bat now here for Gonzalez. The Astros very quickly tying the game up. And still nobody out. 1 strike. Bouncer towards short. Run will score. And there's the first out of the inning. Coming in from third is Altuve.
And a productive out and run batted in for Gonzalez because Correa, getting that extra base, advances to third.
A reprieve for Fiers. And the end of the night for Hector Santiago. A good night going until the 6th inning. Twins handed him a lead. And Santiago gives 3 back. He gets only 1 out here in the 6th. So with Houston back in front, a pitching change. Michael Tonkin coming in for the Twins. Runs allowed through 5 innings. He had 3 1-2-3 innings through 5 innings, and then all sorts of trouble immediately in the 6th.
He left some pitches up. That changeup up to Correa that he knocked in 2 of the 3 runs scored so far this inning. Michael Tonkin coming in for the 49th time. He last worked in Tampa on Saturday, an inning and 2/3. Gave up an unearned run in the 7-3 Twins loss.
Evan Gattis will be the first man to face Tonkin with the runner at third.
One thing Michael's been able to do, get some strikeouts. 65 strikeouts in 55 innings pitched. Infield playing in.
Twins with 3 in the 5th. Now the Astros with 3 in the 6th. Gattis has struck out and popped up. Suzuki has to backhand a first pitch fastball. On the outside corner. Tonkin, a strikeout guy, as you saw, 65 of them in 55 innings, and that's why he's been tasked to pitch to Gattis here, a guy who's strikeout prone. Trying to strand a runner at third here, having given back the lead. Outside at 95, and it's 2-1.
Tonkin basically fastball slider. Not many changeups.
Now 3-1. White on deck. Tonkin's only walked 17 in 55 innings. That's acceptable. First 4 batters have reached this inning, and now a ball lifted foul. Nothing but fastballs so far to Gattis. Full count. And a slider, and he missed inside and walked him. Now first and third, one down, and Tyler White. Praise FM invites you to Faith Night 2016. It's coming up August 13th. Twins taking on the Royals. You can enjoy the game and then stay for post-game live worship music and appearances by Brian Dozier, Kyle Gibson, some other special guests. For details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/faithnight. Here's Tyler White. Hawkins had problems holding runners. You wouldn't think Gattis would be a candidate to steal. And there's a fastball off the plate.
Yeah, with Tonkin on the mound, there's been 4 double plays turned behind him. See if White can hit into a double play.
7 pitches, 2 strikes for Tonkin. Popped up. Dozier retreating. Kepler coming in. And it is Rosario with the catch. Or with the cut off near the mound, 2 down.
Yeah, and that's what you want right there. You want that outfielder to come in and catch that, not Brian Dozier, because he might be backpedaling, and it's Rosario that took charge, and that's what center fielders do. Called up Dozier, made the catch, got it back in the infield.
8th man to bat, Jake Marisnik. He's popped to Mauer and hit a fly ball to Rosario.
His last at bat, he hit it to the deepest part of the field. Rosario caught it near the warning track.
To right field. And Kepler is right there. And Tonkin does a nice job walking the first guy he faced, but he got outs 2 and 3. Yet the Astros got 3 runs. A brilliant array of foliage throughout the state. Sign up for weekly fall color reports and read about recommended rainbow routes on ExploreMinnesota.com. Autumn is a special time of year in Minnesota. The landscape splashed with color. Maple trees, shrubs, even prairie grasses take on golden, ruby, and tangerine hues. Getting hungry just talking about it. Find endless ideas for the perfect getaways at ExploreMinnesota.com and share your favorites with hashtag #OnlyInMN. Don't know if I'm ready for fall yet with the fall colors, but it's inevitable. Altuve in the middle of a 3-run rally for the Astros, and now Trevor Plouffe will be the first man to face Perez coming out of the Houston bullpen.
Yeah, Michael Feliz, I believe, coming out.
I'm sorry, Feliz. Yep.
Making his 33rd relief appearance. Look at the record, 7-1. Opponents hitting only .203 off of this hard-throwing right-hander from the Dominican Republic. Good fastball. A little wild there, but also a hard slider.
Plouffe walked his first time up after grounding out in the second, or his second time up after grounding out to short in the second inning. And in the strike zone at 95, it's 1-1. Two and one.
Now, Feliz started with the Astros in that bullpen. This is his third stint. Couple outings down in AAA, then recalled in early May.
Mid-90s down the middle, and it's 2-2. Plouffe, Rosario, and Polanco. Three and two, trying to mix in a breaking ball, but missed.
Yeah, 15 walks in 49 2/3 innings. He has allowed 7 home runs, but 72 strikeouts.
Under his chin. And Plouffe takes a leadoff walk. Twins have now had the leadoff man on in every inning since the first. Saturday, MLB on FS1 fills your lineup with a star-studded doubleheader. Andrew McCutchen looks to power the Pirates past the Dodgers. Then the amazing Mike Trout tries to lift the Angels over AL Central leading Cleveland in a game you can only see on FS1. The action begins at 2:30 p.m. Central on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Tonight, the Indians are leading the Nationals in the 9th inning 3-1, but disturbing news before the game. Swing and a miss. That ball gets by Gaddis, and Plouffe will go to second base on a swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Last night it was Bruce Bochy of the Giants. Had an irregular heartbeat. Bochy's had some history with some cardiac problems. He didn't manage the game, and he's fine now and out of the hospital. But before the game today, Terry Francona was experiencing chest pains. Brad Mills managing for the Indians tonight. So in each case, we
wish him well.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It'll be a wild pitch. Charger Feliz allowing Plouffe to get to second base.
Another situation now where the Twins have, in this case, the tying run again in the 6th inning at second base with nobody out. 1 strike to Rosario. Fastball low. Rosario has struck out twice, both times against Fiers, of course. Once on a breaking ball in the dirt, the other time on a fastball across the letters.
Like to find a way to advance Plouffe over to third.
Line foul.
You know, in the 3rd inning, Suzuki started that inning off with a double and was left there.
Grossman hit the ball hard, but to left field. And then Dozier lined to the shortstop. Mauer struck out. The Twins had the same opportunity in the 4th inning with Kepler at second base. Nobody out. One and two to Rosario. Popped up. And over for a look is Bregman. He has no play. Rosario looking fastball. And Feliz threw him an off-speed pitch. Rangers won this afternoon in Denver 7-5 over the Rockies. There's a lot at stake here for the Astros. They've drifted back now in 3rd place in the American League West. 1-2 to Rosario. And for the 3rd time tonight, Rosario strikes out.
Yeah, and a high breaking ball right there. Feliz picks up a strikeout. And that's what we saw Fiers do. Get the strikeout when he needed it.
I don't know, that pitch wouldn't have been called a strike anyway, right on the outside corner, but Rosario didn't come close.
Nice tight break on that breaking ball.
Here is Polanco, a strikeout and a fly to left. Outside ball 1.
They list Feliz at 6'4", about 230.
Six at the knees. 1-1. Up the middle into center field. Plouffe around 3rd. He's coming in. Throw from Marisnick is in time to get him. Marisnick with a perfect throw to the plate, and Plouffe is thrown out. 2 away.
Yeah, we've seen both center fielders here today make some nice throws home. Marisnick comes up, and a nice pick by Gavis behind the plate. That little short hop. Ball lined right back up the middle. Marisnick comes up, and the throw home. Short hops. Gaddis right there. He's able to get it in the glove and apply the tag on Trevor. So Polanco will get a base hit, but like the Astros, they were thrown out at home in the 1st inning by Rosario.
Brent Strom, the pitching coach, to the mound with Polanco at 1st and 2 away. Looked like Feliz was ducking before Polanco made contact with that breaking ball. You ever throw a curve ball and duck right away?
All the time.
See if Polanco's asked to steal here. The Twins try to maneuver on the bases to get this game tied up here in the 6th. Suzuki with a double and a walk. Inside ball 1. Suzuki doubled leading off the 3rd, then he walked leading off the 5th. On the outside corner. Terry Francona. The Indians got some bad news again today regarding Michael Brantley. He might need shoulder surgery, they're saying. Another setback as he tries to come back this year. 2-1 to Kurt Suzuki.
Remember, he tried to come back and it flared up again. Put him back on a disabled list.
3-1. This time Gaddis blocks enough of it and keeps it in front of him, keeping Polanco at 1st base. The threat, if you will, this inning was created when Feliz walked Plouffe to start the inning. Now he's in danger of sending Polanco into scoring position with a walk. Grossman on deck. popped up. It's back and out of play. Full count, and now Polanco will leave early. Doing most of their damage in the 5th inning. All their runs so far coming on home run balls.
Polanco will get a good head start right here. Maybe an extra base hit might score him.
There he goes. And a breaking ball. Swing and a miss. Suzuki strikes out. The Twins threaten to tie it up, but can't hit or done. And it's still the Astros by 1. Tight one with the Astros up by 1.
Yeah, 3 home runs by the Twins. A solo home run by Miguel Sano made it a 2-1 ball game after Correa led the first inning off with a 2-run home run. Robbie Grossman with his 7th home run, a 2-run home run, and then the next batter, Brian Dozier, makes it a lead for the Twins, 4-2. But the Astros come back. Correa, a big part of that, a 2-run single. And in the infield out right there scored Altuve. It's a 5-4 ball game.
And the Astros sent 8 men to the plate in what's referred to as a shutdown inning. Means it just given Santiago the lead, but he gave 3 back. And now Tony Kemp taking strike 1 from Michael Tonkin. Indians ended up beating the Nationals 3-1 final score. Trevor Bauer outpitched Max Scherzer. Check swing. And it's 1-1. Not going to walk the first man he faced, but he got a couple of outfield flies to keep it a 1-run ball game. 2-1. Kemp hitting 9th, and Springer, the leadoff man, will bat next. Three and 1. So far, Tonkin's thrown 13 pitches and just 6 strikes.
You want this guy to swing the bat. Very quick a foot. Minor leagues, 107 stolen bases in 3+ minor league seasons.
Right field, Kepler will play it on a hop. A leadoff single for Kemp.
Kemp picking up his first hit, and now you have the situation where Tonkin has had such a tough time holding on runners. There have been 13 stolen bases against him in 14 tries.
Springer at the plate. He started the 3-run 6th with an opposite field double. First of perhaps several throws over there. And what makes it odd about Tonkin, basically he overpowered AAA batters as the Rochester closer last year. 14 saves, 41 innings, 46 strikeouts, only 5 walks. But as a closer, you'd think that if you were vulnerable to the stolen base, it might have shown up. 1 strike to Springer. And over the inside ball. Astros have done some damage in 0-2 counts here, particularly Altuve. Oh, 0-2. Kemp gets back to the bag.
Kemp has 1 stolen base in 2 attempts.
Springer, another example of a player plucked out of the lineup and inserted into the leadoff spot atypically. Carlos Santana of the Indians, another one. You wouldn't have ever thought that he would be a leadoff batter, but the job description for a leadoff batter's changed in recent years. Roy Smalley and I were doing the games in Cleveland. We talked about that. Who knew that Jock Jones would be a pioneer? Now Springer can steal a base, but he's in the lineup because he can make it 1-0 pretty quickly.
Well, Detroit has Ian Kinsler. Same type of thing. That he did that with Texas, led off, and he's doing it for Detroit. A lot of power. He only lead off once.
2 strikes. On the ground and past Plouffe to left field. So the Astros start the 7th inning with a pair of singles.
Now slider right there, and Springer hooked it past a diving Plouffe into left field. Gets his 2nd hit.
And again, Tonkin got ahead of him 0-2, ends up yielding a base hit. Here's Bregman. A double. A soft line drive for an out, and then a walk in the 3-run 6th.
See if the Twins look for a bunt here. Trevor Plouffe, third base, coming in on the grass. Joe Mauer in front of first base.
Popped up, fouling out of play. Almost wanted to bunt successfully here because then you could walk Altuve.
And that's probably what A.J. Hinch is thinking right there. I want that man to swing the bat.
1 strike to Bregman. And now 2 strikes to Bregman.
Well, Bregman, just 22 years old, started this season in Double-A. And the Astro organization, moved up to AAA. He's hit at every level.
0-2. He got a piece of a high fastball. Astros threatening. They lead by a run. Tonkin trying to pitch out of a jam in the 7th. And a foul over the Twins dugout. Hector Santiago got a few strikeouts, but he didn't really get any key strikeouts. And Tonkin got out of the 6th without striking anybody out. Now here in the 7th, he'd love to get Bregman. Altuve about as tough as they come when it comes to striking the batter out. 0-2 again. One and two. Astros had scored just 18 runs in their last 10 games, but they have 5 on the board already here tonight. Basically, it's the type of offensive rut that the Twins had to start the season.
Yeah, 3 runs in the 6th inning last inning. That's like having a picnic,
Right.
you know, my goodness.
1-2. Towards short, how many? 1, 2. And on the play, Kemp goes to third. And Altuve will come up with 2 out.
That's a big double play right there. Good turn of a double play by Polanco and Dozier. Polanco feeding it to Dozier. And then Bryant getting it quickly over to Joe Mauer.
You know, just things like that. As Polanco is given a trial at short, he didn't rush anything. He made sure of getting the first out. There is Altuve. He's already got 3 hits tonight, all of them singles, and Tonkin burns the outside corner. And the average up to 360. Oh, 0-1. And now 0-2. Closest hitter to Altuve coming into play was Yunel Escobar at 318. So we know Rod Carew. What about Robinson Cano? Julio Franco.
Julio Franco with Texas.
And we knew Altuve. Didn't Franco do it as a 45-year-old, something like that?
Yeah, I played with him in Cleveland. Way back when.
Up the middle. And Altuve has his 4th hit. And right up the middle, and again on an 0-2 count.
And pitch up in the strike zone. Altuve picking up an RBI, his 68th of the year. So good 2-out hitting by Altuve makes it a 6-4 ball game.
How about 0-2 hitting? At least 2 of his hits have come on 0-2 counts.
Trying to go down and away, the pitch up. And Altuve right back up the middle. Look where that pitch is.
Fox Strikes presented by Carrier.
But look at his eyes. You see the eyes, it's just like watching the ball make contact with the bat.
Now a dangerous hitter in Correa. And Tonkin never saw Kemp take off from first base. There's a real good chance that Altuve will take off here.
Altuve stole a base in the 4th inning, his 26th.
Right to Mauer, and that'll take care of it. But 1 pitch too late for Michael Tonkin. Altuve strikes again, and the lead's grown to 2. coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile with a look around the majors. Trevor Bauer, as we mentioned, had a good ball game for the Indians, squaring up against Max Scherzer. Cleveland leading Detroit by 3. Detroit playing in Seattle. Dustin Pedroia, the big night against the Yankees. And the Red Sox currently the second AL wildcard team, and the Marlins are on the National League side. What a job by Don Mattingly and the Marlins. Remembering that if they get in, of course, Dee Gordon won't be available to them because of the suspension that he served first 80 games. Now a 2-run lead, and for the Twins it'll be Robbie Grossman leading things off against Feliz. Grossman clobbered a 2-run home run to put the Twins in front his last time up. Also hit the ball sharply his first time up. Up and away, ball 1.
Yeah, Feliz out there for his second inning of relief. A walk, couple strikeouts in the 6th inning.
2-0. He struggled with his control in the first inning. 22 pitches thrown, only 11 strikes in his outing. Popped up. It's going to reach the seats. 2-1. Grossman got a high fastball and hit the ball well over the wall in right field for his 2-run home run. And now 3-1. Again, the Twins have had the leadoff man on in every inning since the first. Sano homered in the second. Suzuki doubled in the third. Kepler singled in the fourth. A leadoff walk in the fifth and a leadoff walk in the sixth. Foul tip. Strike 2.
Feliz, one of those guys that are in the Astro organization. He signed with them back in 2010. Mainly a starter in the minor leagues, but up here kind of a long man out of their bullpen.
And we've seen that many times over the last couple of weeks. Grossman trying to draw a walk, and he's taken a lot of called third strikes. That's the first out of the 7th.
And Feliz picks up his 3rd strikeout. First one called 3rd strike. It's a fastball down, lower part of the strike zone.
Yeah. Strikes had it right where he wanted it. One down, and now Dozier homered his last time up. Strike 1. Strike 2, and Gaddis couldn't even catch the ball.
Yeah, but he held his glove there.
Different kind of framing. This is where the ball was. I didn't hold on to it, but this is where the ball was.
Watch Gaddis right here. I caught it good. I'm framing it. Oh yeah, by the way, I have to go get the ball.
I don't know that I've ever seen that before. One and 2. And now 2 and 2. 30 pitches, just 16 strikes. So far, only 1 walk. 3 strikeouts and a single. Deep but foul down the left field line. Left-hander Tony Sipp has struggled against lefties. And Neshek having another good year with the Astros, and Buddy Boucher's warming up for the Twins.
Tony Sipp, the only lefty in that bullpen.
2-2 to Dozier. Popped up foul down the right field line. Twins have had a tough time stringing things together other than the 5th inning when they got a walk, home run in pretty rapid fire succession. 2-2. Chopped to short, easy play for Correa. 2 down.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Mauer, the batter. Twins haven't had a 1-2-3 inning since the first. Mauer's 0 for 3. Ground out, a strikeout, and a liner to left. And Gaddis deflects it over by the Houston dugout. 1-0. And a strike. 1-1. Checked his swing, and again Gaddis having a hard time catching the baseball tonight. Jason Castro, their former regular catchers, who's really had a terrible time at the plate.
And hitting only 206.
All kinds of strikeouts too. 243 at bats and 99 strikeouts. And Mauer with a base hit to left. Kemp will get there and hold Mauer to a single, but that'll get Kepler to the plate as the tying run. Paul Molitor said today that in St. Petersburg, Kepler had 10 straight at bats where he saw off speed pitches on the first pitch.
Oh, fastball up and away, and what Joe does so well, takes it to left field. Mauer picking up his first hit.
Brent Strom to the mound. Left-handers are hitting .311 against the only left-hander in the Houston bullpen. And right-handers are hitting SIP over 300. Well, basically he's having a rotten year. So Brent Strom's message is pitch this guy carefully. Don't walk him, but don't give him anything good to hit. Is that it in a nutshell?
That's it in a nutshell.
Kepler's been seeing a lot of off-speed pitches. Grounded a single to right in the 4th. There's SIP. He's back on the bench in the bullpen.
As Neshek continues to throw. With Sano on deck.
Kepler takes a high strike. Fastball at the belt. Fouled away, 2 strikes. Kepler's getting fastballs, but they're 96-97, not 93-94.
Right. Yeah, that last one at 97.
40th pitch for Feliz. See if the Twins can get an 0-2 hit from Kepler. There's a hit. Mauer to second. He'll hold up there, and Sano will have a chance. But who will it be against?
Well, this time it was the Twins that got a hit on an 0-2 pitch. Well, Kepler picks up his second hit.
And here comes A.J. Hinch. It'll be Neshek against Sano. With the Twins putting together a bit of a 2-out threat here. The big man coming to the plate with the Twins down by 2. handles funk, because one of the funkiest right-handed relievers in the game, Pat Neshek, a good guy, and we're happy to see him doing well in Houston. He's putting together a really good year. He'll pitch to Sano.
Yeah, Neshek signing a 2-year contract with an option over the winter by the Astros, making his 43rd relief appearance. Of course, he was originally signed by the Twins, came up with the Twins 2006, then had the Tommy John surgery, spent some time in San Diego, Oakland, St. Louis, in his second season now with the Astros.
Sano with a home run in the second. Since then 0 for 2. Tying run at first. Inside, ball 1.
You say funky, I say herky jerky.
Safer to say what you said. 1-0. And he got a pitch that he may not get again. I don't think Neshek wants to leave anything up there.
Hanging breaking ball right there. So just got underneath it.
One and one. Big fly ball to short center. In fact, just barely out onto the outfield grass. It's not even going to make it there. And Altuve makes the catch. That ends the 7th inning. Twins leaving 2 singles aboard. It's still the Astros by 2. Down by a couple. You can join us Monday, September 5th against the Royals for Eduardo Escobar and Friends Labor Day celebration benefiting Venezuelan youth. Special ticket package includes tickets on the Budweiser roof deck, a post-game meet and greet with Eduardo Escobar and other Twins players. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Escobar or call 800-33-TWINS. Buddy Boshear's in to try to keep this a 6-4 ball game.
Yeah, Buddy making his 23rd relief appearance. He worked a couple times on that road trip, actually 3 times, 2 in Cleveland, 1 in Tampa. Only 3 walks for Buddy Boshear's, 1 intentional in 21 1/3 innings, 22 strikeouts.
Gonzalez, Gaddis, and White to hit for Houston in the 8th. Way out in front of an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, Boshear straight over the top with the fastball. That last pitch, the curveball.
Gonzalez has hit 3 ground balls to the left side, but the last one in the 6th inning gave the Astros a lead of 5-4. It's now 6-4. Another off-speed pitch and another swing and a miss.
He's looked kind of bad on those. Why would you not throw it again? See what Suzuki wants. Sure. Take that olive out of your hand.
That one in the dirt, 1-2.
Tonight's crowd, 22,261. A little over 20,000 last night. Gonna try it again. Throw it like the first two. Like that.
One down. 4-pitch strikeout with Gonzalez. Seeing nothing but curveballs. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, that 2-0 pitch, he tried to see if he'd maybe chase it down, so go right back to the ones that he swung through the first two. Straight over the top, good angle, downward plane.
And now Gaddis 0 for 2 with a walk. Fastball down and away. And now back to the breaking ball and a called strike.
Couple stints for Buddy Bouchers with the Twins this year. Got called up for the first time in late May, then optioned back on the 4th of July, then recalled about 2 weeks later.
And he reaches down and punches a single to left.
They golfed that in the left field.
A 1-out single.
Gaddis picks up his first hit. 11th hit for the Astros, who came in over the last, 2 weeks, hitting .201.
Right. Gomez is going to run for Gaddis, and presumably Castro will catch the rest of the game. So the pinch runner, Carlos Gomez, and the batter is White. A couple of former teammates. Outside corner with a fastball. Seems so long ago, but Gomez didn't really put it all together till he got to Milwaukee. But the one thing he gave the Twins was some energy and excitement at a time when the organization needed it. And there goes Gomez, and Suzuki's throw safe at second.
That's one thing Gomez can do. He can steal bases. That's his 13th of the year. And the first stolen base against Bouchers while he's been on the mound. Got a great jump right there. Suzuki's throw right there, but Gomez sliding it head first, getting that left hand on the bag.
Just before the tag on the hip.
Very, very close.
Twins taking a look at it, see if they can find a favorable angle. Ooh, that's very close.
Well, you watch guys that slide into the bag at second base. Of course, they're not going to put their fingers into the bag. They're going to use their palm. And that little extra right there creates a bang bang play.
No challenging.
Astros steal their second base of the ball game. Altuve had one in the 4th inning.
1-1 the count to White. Back to Gomez. In the off season, the Twins lost Torrey Hunter to free agency and traded Johan Santana. Now that's a huge loss. They got Gomez, of course, in the trade, but that's a lot of talent to be lost in one off season. And Gomez stepped in. Ball Ball hit to right field. Kepler coming in, making a sliding catch, and from the seat of his pants, he'll start a double play. Great catch by Kepler in right. Gomez doubled off, and it's still 6-4.
We start the bottom of the 8th inning, 6-4 Astros right now. Coming up after the game, we'll bring you Twins Live presented by CenturyLink. And tonight we're going to look at one of the best hitters in the league, Jose Altuve, and what he's done tonight. For the 7th time, he has a 4-hit game this season, a perfect 4 of 4 from the plate, a couple of runs scored and an RBI. Plus the 3 Twins home runs tonight from Miguel Sano, Robbie Grossman, and Brian Dozier. Plus, we'll hear from Paul Molitor, all coming up after the game. Take a break.
All right, former closer Will Harris will pitch in the 8th inning. First to Trevor Plouffe. There's a bunt, and it's going to die in the grass and cross the line. Didn't die in the grass at all. Nearly a lucky bunt for Plouffe. He popped it up, but it had enough spin to get it out of the grass and out of the dirt.
Yeah, that bunt right there up in the air, and then Harris thought about going after it, and then he saw where it hit, and the ball just kept rolling.
Ball landed about 4 feet in the grass. You don't see them go sideways like that very often. 1 strike. Harris was the closer. Now it's Kent Ryan. Harris has given up at least 1 run in his last 4 outings. Nevertheless, he gets the 8th inning here to face Plouffe, Rosario, and Polanco.
Yeah, 48 strikeouts in 44 2/3 innings in his 2nd season with the Astros. Made the All-Star team this year.
Good, 2 strikes.
Good curveball right there.
Castro is catching. So one would think Harris will get the 8th inning, and if there's still a lead to protect in the 9th, it'll be Ryan. 0-2 to Trevor Plouffe. Tapped, foul. I say Ryan. Kent Giles is the closer. Oh, and 2. Right. Swing. Did he go? No. Very close check swing. And a ball to Plouffe, 1-2.
Yeah, when you said Ryan, I was thinking, oh my goodness, Nolan Ryan's back. Did he go too far?
Yeah, pretty close.
Very close.
No, I'll give him a check on that angle. 1-2. Tap to the left side. Correa has time to set and fire one away. That'll bring up Rosario. The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. You can choose in advance or even the day of the game. Flex plan. Don't plan. Flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex. Call 800-33-TWINS. One down, and now Rosario, who has struck out 3 times. Swinging. And taken low, ball 1.
Harris, 31 years old, originally signed by the Rockies out of LSU. Came up with the Rockies in 2012. Spent some time in Arizona with the Diamondbacks in his 2nd season with the Astros. He likes that curveball. It's a tight one.
And Rosario chases it 1-1. Astros have a good bullpen. Of course, they've had a winning record last year and this year because of a good starting rotation. The downfall in recent weeks has been a lineup that's been scuffling to score runs.
Sputtering, yes.
There's the before mismentioned Ken Giles.
That curveball left up, hit foul. Yeah, Astros bullpen combined 3.16 ERA. Very, very good. They have 28 saves out of that bullpen.
Rosario trying to get a board for Polanco. And just got a piece to keep the at-bat alive. Another 1-2 to Rosario. And that time Rosario lays off the breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2. Went up and in with a cutter. Fastball really clocked at 94 miles per hour, but did you see that ball move?
Yep.
Wow. 2 down.
Straight over the top.
Look at the ball move.
That's how quick it gets on you.
Dude.
So Rosario strikes out for the 4th time.
2 down. And now Polanco. Can see why Harris made the All-Star team. He's got nasty stuff. Polanco singled to center, nearly tied the game in the 6th inning, but Plouffe was thrown out at the plate. Tap to the right side. Easy play for Altuve. And Harris has a clean 1-2-3 8th inning. face Marisnick, Kemp, and Springer. Twins hoping to get through this game, even though they got a shorter than hoped for start from Hector Santiago, hoping to get through this game with just 3 pitchers.
Yeah, Michael Tonkin an inning and 2/3. He did give up 1 run, and Buddy Shears, as you mentioned, starting his 2nd inning.
We might see more of that. Paul Molitor again today expressed concern about specifically Ryan Presley and all the appearances he's had, a year coming back from a serious injury, and so we may see relievers pitching multiple innings in an effort to save a little wear and tear on Presley and some others.
Yeah, only 12 pitches thrown by Bo Shears in the 8th inning, so they're hoping that he can have another quick inning here.
A ball, now a strike. Drilled to right center field. Rosario will chase it, and it'll get by him all the way to the wall. Marisnick runs well, and so he'll scamper around second, and he'll open this inning with a triple. Jake Marisnick, his first hit of the ball game, a slicing liner away from or pursuing Eddie Rosario.
We've seen, you know, in last night's ball game, we saw that ball scoot by Gomez, and that ball scooted by Rosario. He tried to take the right route, but the ball just kind of got by him. High fastball. Marisnick with his first triple of the year hits it to right center. Rosario going over and out, but you can see that ball take off.
Infield in now after Marisnick's inning opening triple. Dozier, like a hockey goalie, scooted to his right to smother that pitch, or that ground ball, 1 away. Play by Dozier. He almost looked like a catcher blocking a pitch in the dirt. Wanted to make sure that ball did not get by him.
Watch Dozier's reaction right here, going to his right, keeping it in front of him. You know, we showed Dozier last night turning a double play where he really got down and making sure that that ball was near him and he could flip it over and complete a double play last night.
Infield stays in for Springer. Fouled back. Springer with a double to start the 6th inning, and that's when the Astros took the game from 4-2 Twins to 5-4 Houston. And it came right after the Twins scored 3 runs to take the lead.
Springer with a couple hits in the ball game. He has scored 1 of the 6 runs for the Astros.
Like to get him and then get Bregman and not have to pitch to Altuve this inning. Fly ball left field, coming in as Grossman. Tagging is Marisnick. Here's the throw. Not in time, and the Astros get a big insurance run in the 9th inning thanks to Marisnick's triple.
Springer will pick up an RBI, his 62nd of the year on the sacrifice fly. And it's a 7-4 ball game. And Marisnick and his speed slides across home plate.
Base is empty, a run in. Bregman the batter, 2 away, and strike 1. Two strikes. 7 runs for the Astros. Giles warming up. 1-2. Bregman with 1 hit on the night and a walk. Checked his swing.
Mark Wagner at first base saying he did not go.
Talking earlier about the Astros' inability to pull off a trade. They certainly could have pulled off a trade if they wanted to part with someone like Bregman, some of the other young talent that they have. And there's the outside corner. Boshiers gives up a leadoff triple and a run. It's a 3-run lead for the Astros as we go to the home half of the ninth. Astros took the lead with a 3-run sixth, but a couple of big insurance runs, one in the 7th thanks to an Altuve base hit, and then Springer with a fly ball, making it a 7-4 lead. And so the Twins have their work cut out for them against Giles.
Yeah, Giles making his 49th relief appearance. Luke Gregerson was also their closer, but he's been put on a disabled list with an oblique strain, so Giles getting the opportunity.
Twins haven't seen much of Giles, even less of his pitches when he pitched against the Twins in Houston. Just 1 inning. He wasn't the closer back then, but his baseball, his pitches just seemed to disappear. Tough guy.
Yeah, he's been clocked as high as 103. Very hard slider and a changeup.
Up and in at 99.
Giles got some saves last year for the Philadelphia Phillies, 15 of them out of the bullpen. 1.8 earned run average, 87 strikeouts last year, 70 innings pitched.
2-0. The price to get Giles very steep based on his limited experience. Now, really good 2 years or a year and a half with the Phillies, but they gave up 5 pitchers to get him. Mark Appel, Vince Velasquez, Brent Oberholzer. The strike. We were crediting Andy MacPhail when he was here with the Phillies that he's the only guy I know who's ever been able to pull off a 5-pitcher for 1 trade, and he did it twice. He traded Frank Viola to the Mets and got 5 pitchers. 2-1 to Suzuki. Twins need some base runners. 3-1.
Showed you the numbers on Giles. 44 in the third innings, 14 walks, but 69 strikeouts.
And to the right field corner, chasing it is Springer. He won't get there, and Suzuki drops a double into the right field corner to start the 9th inning.
They got a fastball and he hit it away. Right into that corner, his second double of the ball game. And Suzuki now with 19 doubles on the year.
2 of them tonight. And now Grossman. The extra run that the Astros got in the top of this inning looming very large. Grossman's already homered once. As he stands in, he does not represent the tying run. That would be Dozier in the on deck circle. On the outside corner, 98.
No reason why Grossman can't hit another home run.
Down and in, 1-1. Grossman took a called third strike his last time up, but he's hit the ball hard twice tonight, lining out to left in the third and then hitting his home run to right in the 5th.
Giles has allowed 5 home runs.
Breaking ball and a strike.
It's the hard slider there.
Twins need another base runner and then hope the likes of Dozier, Mauer, and Kepler can push 3 runs across.
Castro going through some signs. Giles finally agrees. He does.
2-2.
Back to the slider.
Big ball game for the Astros as they know that the Rangers won this afternoon, trying to stay 8.5 games back. Roll to the right side, didn't hit the bag, and Giles to the bag and Suzuki to third, 1 away. Best hope for Grossman on that ball would have been for it to hit the base. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. Dallas Keuchel. The Twins beat him in Houston earlier this year. Irvin Santana will go for the Twins in Game 3.
Santana has never lost to the Astros, so should be a good pitching matchup.
And a reminder, we are not televising Thursday afternoon's game, so you'll be fortunate to be able to listen to the Twins radio network to follow the game. Here is Dozier. Solo home run in the 5th. Strike.
Big swing. Slider right there.
Another slider and another swing and a miss. So I was talking about just the glimpse that we got of him in Houston. You can understand why with the Phillies he had a sub-2 ERA. That slider just disappears. On 2. on the ground, juggled by Correa. He'll throw him out. Scoring is Suzuki, but now the Twins are down to their last out.
Yeah, Suzuki scoring for the second time in a ball game. Dozier picking up his second run batted in. Now with 65.
It's been awfully stingy in allowing runs. The Twins have one, but they still have a lot of work to do. See if Mauer can extend the game for Kepler. Open in. I suppose you could make the case that the Astros paid such a heavy price for Giles that they didn't want to pull the trigger on another trade before the trade deadline. There's a breaking ball and a strike. They gave up a lot of talent, gave you some of the names. Maybe they felt they didn't want to strip the cupboard bare to make another move there right before the trading deadline.
Well, they really struggled against Kansas City in postseason last year, especially that bullpen. So he tried to improve it. Starters all pitched well. Royals just beat him in 5 games and advanced and then won the World Series.
2-1 to Mauer. On the outside corner. The Twins are down to their last strike.
Now, Dick, when we talked about the bullpen, a lot of these clubs that are winning, they build from the 9th inning back. You know, and this is the guy right here. You can see you just clip maybe the down and away.
Big difference between 3-1 and 2-2. Check. You swing 3-2. Kepler would be the next hitter.
Well, 2-run lead. You're not going to fool around, I don't think, with a slider. You're just going to challenge Joe right here. Don't want to walk him. He can earn his way on. Giles trying to rub off some of the sweat coming off his arm.
Full count to Mauer with 2 down in the 9th.
And he walked him.
And Kepler will have a chance. 2 singles for Kepler. For a guy who has only spent a couple of months in the big leagues, he's found himself in a lot of situations like this.
He's gotten some big hits.
He sure has. Just outside at 99.
Hats are on.
1-0. That one hit the corner. Took a little off. At 98.
I'd be surprised if they try to come in on him right here. Everything away, make him beat you the other way.
We've seen power to center and right. We have not seen opposite field power yet from Kepler.
Castro.
Up and away, 2-1.
Breaking ball stayed up.
And the more he plays around here with Kepler, the greater chance he'll have of facing Sano. 2-1 to Max Kepler.
Sitting down and away.
And he got a pitch to hit and fouled it back.
Yes, he did. Oh, nice one-handed grab by the young man to our left.
That pitch just a little bit higher than the 4 were in Cleveland, and a little bit harder.
Yeah.
2-2 to Kepler. Struck him out. And the Twins get one. But Giles finishes with an impressive strikeout of Max Kepler, and they've evened this series now to game apiece.
I think if we look back at this ball game, yeah, 3 home runs for the Twins. It's what they were unable to do. That guy was able to do it, Altuve. Good ball game. Correa drove in 4 of the 7 runs.
Tom Hanneman, the Twins handed their newest pitcher, Hector Santiago, a lead, but then Santiago really struggled in the 6th inning, and eventually the Astros won the ball game.
Dick Houston turns the tables on the Twins tonight, snapping a 4-game losing streak on the road. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, we'll break it all down. The Astros 7-5 win over the Twins tonight at Target Field to even the series at a win apiece. Jose Altuve ignited the Astros with 4 hits, and we'll preview Game 3 tomorrow.